Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I'd like to introduce you to my little sidekick Lily here. She's going to be joining us. Today I'm just going to be going over what a spiritual journey is and basically what will bring it out and make you want to get on your spiritual journey to awaken to who you truly are. Most of the time when you're just living your life, you have no idea what you're meant to be doing or what brings you 100% joy. When you finally find your purpose, you'll know it because it will feel really, really good to you. For the longest time, I had no idea. I was just kind of floating through life, and I did odd jobs. I, followed this career path that I thought I was meant to be doing. 4 years into it, I realized, oh my gosh, I love what I do, but it's not fulfilling me anymore. So along my journey, I realized that I needed to open myself up to who I truly was. I wasn't being who I truly am meant to be. I had a persona that I was known as, and it kept me very, very comfortable. It protected me for a very long time, and once I got on the path of spiritual awakening, that persona kind of fell away and my true self started to shine through. So at my core, I'm very loving. I am very protective, very caring. I'm kind. I have a huge heart. People who knew me in my younger years probably could see that, but they could also see that I was consumed with being, a bad bitch per se. I didn't want anyone to be able to get to me in a way that would hurt me. So for the longest time, I would just be mean. I was very mean to a lot of people, and I didn't necessarily care who got in my way. I wasn't going to be hurt. I wasn't going to be walked all over. I still have that protectiveness to myself. I will always stand up for an underdog or someone who's being bullied or something like that, but growing up, sometimes I was the bully, and looking back on some of my interactions with people, I don't like who I was. It didn't really dawn on me who I was being until I started this awakening, and I started being really annoyed by people, like certain people that were showing me things within myself that I didn't realize that I was embodying. So for instance, at work, I used to jump in a lot and I would take over situations, and I wouldn't let people just do it on their own and figure it out. A lot of times I would sweep in and, take over. Now, my true intention was I'm helping these people. I'm helping this person do X, Y, and Z. What it looked like from the outside was, man, she's a control freak. She can't let anyone do anything their own way. So once I kind of got a handle on that, I've stepped back a lot. I let people do what they need to do, and if they need me, I'm there, but I'm not going to step in and take over. And it wasn't until I started seeing people doing this like other people around me, and I'm like, man, they really bother me. Why do they bother me so much? And that's what it was. I was seeing pieces of myself inside of them that I didn't enjoy. And then once I realized that, I actually have grown to love the people that used to annoy the heck out of me. So these are just some things that will happen when you start to awaken to who you truly are. Sometimes you may be around someone who you cannot stand, and you're like, I don't know why I can't stand this person. Like, they haven't done anything to me for me not to like them. And it could just be a behavior that they keep doing, and you're like, man, that really burns me up. And that's typically something inside of yourself that you don't like and that you want to change. So I have released control quite a bit when it comes to my work environment, and I'm there if someone needs me, but for the most part, I let people figure it out. So how did I get on my spiritual journey? I would say many, many failed relationships. I grew up kind of not so great. I had a poor upbringing, literally and figuratively, and I was abandoned on multiple occasions by my mother and my father. And So that led to me having very promiscuous years growing up. I didn't have much supervision. You know, I was trying to find love in places that I shouldn't have been seeking. And so for the majority of my life, I've kind of been like taking care of myself, raising myself, and trying to figure it out the best that I could. I had some good friends around me that kind of got me on better paths and, you know, showed me what true family really is. And I'll always be grateful for those people, because when I was growing up and trying to figure things out on my own, I didn't necessarily know like what love was. Like I didn't know how it was supposed to be, or what you were or were not supposed to be doing with, you know, random people. So fast forward through the promiscuous years, I get into a long-term relationship right after high school. And I was in that relationship for about 6.5 years, and that relationship taught me so much. And looking back on it, when I first got out of it, I like was so blinded by what I'd just been through that I didn't realize the gift that it was. And that relationship taught me what I do want in a relationship and what I don't want in a relationship. And it really helped me see that, you know, it's not okay to treat someone poorly simply because you're upset or you don't like what they're doing to, you know, what they've done. It's not okay for you to lash out at them. There are better ways to handle it. The relationship was quite toxic and abusive. There were a couple of years where it was just kind of like okay, but the beginning started out very toxic and abusive, and the end was also toxic and abusive. So it was kind of like a toxic, abusive sandwich, with a couple of years in the center that were just kind of, you know, relationship years. They were just not really escalating, but not really, you know, bland either. I had a lot of fun with this person. We did a lot of things together. I will say I did get a lot of experience out of the relationship, and I will always cherish those years of my life. I never ever regret things that I do. I try not to, because if you look at it at the core of what it is, it's meant to teach you something. And I will say that that relationship taught me a lot. He helped me be an adult. I had no idea how to do adult things on my own, and he was 10 years older than me, so it really helped that he already kind of had lived on his own and knew all the ins and outs of being an adult, so that way he could kind of teach me how to do those things. And then when it came time for me to leave that relationship, I was able to stand on my own 2 feet quite well, and that was something that I needed because I was terrified to leave that relationship. I let him be a crutch for a very long time, and it wasn't until I left it and realized that I was able to, you know, stand on my own 2 feet that I realized I should have left that relationship a long time ago. But things happen, everything happens how it's meant to, and I will say that a lot of the years that I've been alive, I've kind of just been learning lessons, and that's okay. Like, that's what everyone goes through. Everyone picks a different journey, and this lifetime I've picked to learn a crap ton of lessons. So after that relationship, I kind of, you know, I was single. When I was in that relationship, I was so young. So at 25, when I got out of that relationship, I was, I guess I wanted to make up for lost time. So I was a little bit more promiscuous again, but in a different sense. I was so desperate to be in a relationship again. Like, I just wanted to be with someone. And I got on the dating websites and I just went crazy on those things. And, you know, I dated around. I met a lot of different guys, and, you know, I learned different things from each of them as well. However, I can honestly say that I will not internet date ever again. That's just not something I foresee myself doing. It didn't really bring... The benefit didn't outweigh the risk. It wasn't more beneficial to me to be in that situation than to not be. So for my own purpose, I don't foresee myself doing that. And now if someone else wants to do that, that's totally on you. You will figure it out. I went back and forth with the internet dating until I found I'll call him my false soulmate. He was a soulmate. He was someone that I definitely have a deep connection with, and he also taught me a lot, and I have him to be thankful for actually kind of giving me the kick in the pants that I needed to wake up, because I fell really hard for him, and it was kind of soul shaking to the point where I quite literally thought I was going to go insane when we broke up, and it was really traumatizing to me. And we didn't even date that long, so it was so crazy to me that I was so intensely connected to him, and I felt that, you know, I quite literally could die without being with him. And to like think back on it now, it's like so crazy, because I don't need that person at all. And I am thankful that I didn't stay in that relationship, that it didn't go any further than it did, because I met someone later on that actually kind of showed me the contrast of what I wasn't getting with anyone else. So my false soulmate helped me wake up. He, you know, showed me that I had a lot of insecurities, and after, you know, many failed attempts at relationships, I had to stop and say, what's going on with me? Because I can't blame other people anymore. I need to figure out what's going on inside of me. So that's kind of when that started. And I took a good 2 years with no dating. I wouldn't even talk to a guy. I just wanted to focus on myself and try to heal as much as I could before trying to pull someone else into my life. So after the 2 years, I decided, all right, I'm ready to start dating again. And I met a few different guys, and none of them really struck my fancy, if you will. They didn't really, you know, get me. I didn't really get them. It just wasn't a good atmosphere. You know, I kind of knew with the few guys that I did meet that none of them were meant for me. And along the way, I had been to see mediums or psychics, and I got a lot of information from them, and they were always spot on. They always knew exactly what was going on. However, they always said, you know, this isn't your person, this isn't your person. Like, you're meant to learn something from them and move on. So I'm like, okay. And each time you know, like someone and then it doesn't work out, it's kind of like, man, am I ever going to find somebody? So I would say that I needed to spend more time finding myself. So I was involved with this one person, and he was very toxic, and I knew immediately that he was toxic. I could feel it, I could sense it when we engaged in, you know, intimate times. It was just the most awful energy I've ever been around, and I was terrified. I was like, I cannot keep doing this to myself. I said at that moment, I said, I deserve better. And that is the true moment that you wake up, I will say, when you can honestly say, when you're in a situation and you don't like where you are, I deserve better. That's your internal self-worth saying, hey, knock knock, what are you doing? You're not making good decisions. You need to do better. And sometimes that's really hard for anyone to admit. It's especially hard when you're trying to, like, your intent with going out and meeting people is to find love, and instead you're finding these situations that are not healthy. So you're attracting the exact thing that you don't want. And that's when I kind of like had a really big wake-up call, and I was like, I need to change something. And it was really strange because I met my true, like, twin soulmate, like, person who will always be very important to me. We're not currently together, but it doesn't stop him from playing an important role in my life. And when I met him, I can honestly say my whole life changed. And it wasn't like a codependency need to have this person in my life, because we haven't been in each other's lives in, you know, quite a while, but I'm still connected to him. I still feel him. I still am reminded of him. Like, the universe finds ways to, like, plant his name or someone who knows him in my path, or he'll, you know, kind of pop up in my dreams when I'm sleeping. My dreams are very informative. When I started my awakening, I've always had dreams, but when I started really awakening, I had like a ton of dreams, and my dreams are very vivid. I can pretty much tell you like word for word, scene for scene what happens in my dreams, and like I have a lot of people in my dreams. It's kind of freaky, and it really freaks other people out, and I'm like, hey, I dreamed of you last night. Like, it was pretty crazy. But I've learned that like dreams aren't always, they're not always just like figments of your imagination. Like sometimes they really do have meaning to them, or like on a soul level, the people in your dreams you're actually helping, or they're helping you. So if you see someone in your dreams and maybe you haven't seen them in a while, it is kind of good to reach out to them, because they might actually need your energy in their life to like help them with something. And you may not always know what it is intuitively right away, but once you reconnect with that person, you will you'll understand why you were kind of like dreaming of them out of nowhere. So I meet my twin, and we like got along, and then we didn't get along, and then we got along, and then we didn't get along. So it's kind of been like an up and down roller coaster situation. And I don't really tell many people about this person. I try to keep them private, just because everyone has an opinion, and everyone wants to interject their own personal feelings or opinion into the matter, and no one, honestly, even for yourself, no one knows who you're meant to be with or who you are connected to besides you. You could be connected to some random like movie star and have no idea why. Chances are you're probably part of their soul family, or they are your twin. So if you're having random dreams about random people that you don't even know, pay attention to it, write it down. I keep a dream journal because I had the craziest dreams, so I want to remember them, and I want to be able to piece them together, because sometimes I will dream of something and it actually happens. So I like to have that reference to look back on, like, oh yeah, that did happen and I did dream of that. So once I met my twin, I went into like full-blown awakening. Like there was no, okay, I'm gonna do this, or no, I'm not gonna do this. No, I was signed up. I said, okay, I'm doing this. And I basically went into like a deep dive of revamping my entire life. Like my whole persona has changed since I met him, because I don't want to say I did it for him, because it's not really that way. It's pretty much, I saw something in him that made me want to change something in me. When I looked at him, I saw myself, and I didn't like some of the things I saw within him. Like I loved him, and I saw things that I very much loved about him, but both of our pasts are kind of ugly. Like we have some ugly things in our past. And I said to myself, you know, if I'm ever going to be with someone of purpose, someone of, you know, any kind of moral virtue, I want to embody more of those qualities. So the way this works is, if you like write out a list of like what you want in a person, and you have to be able to check off those things for yourself. You have to be able to say, I am, you know, generous, caring, faithful, loving, X, Y, and Z. You have to be able to match those qualities. You can't expect someone to be better than you, because if you attract someone better than you, per se, better than you, you're gonna feel less than all the time. You're not gonna feel good about being with that person. So in order to raise your own vibration and attract someone of a higher vibration, you need to do work on yourself. That's just the bottom line. And once I met this person, I kind of knew that I needed to do those things. I knew that I wasn't going to either attract this person back to me or someone else of good quality if I didn't embody those things myself. So that kind of led to me finding my purpose. And I did a ton of healing work, a ton of energy work on myself. I just was guided to do all these things, and I really started listening to my intuition. And if I would dream of something, I would start investigating it and just like digging it apart inside of me and figuring out what needed to change. So once I found my purpose, I was like, okay, I can do that. Like I do it all the time. I always have people come to me and they always want to talk to me and, you know, get guidance or assistance or my opinion on things, and I never really understood why people did that. Like I didn't understand the wisdom that I possessed until I started like looking inside of myself and learning about, you know, what my actual purpose in life was. And that's to help others heal and ascend and to grow into the best possible version of themselves that they can be. But it takes like you wanting to do it. You can't just be like, oh, yes, I want to be this. No, you have to genuinely want to change. You have to genuinely want better for yourself and to, you know, make the changes that are necessary in order to raise your vibration, because it's not just about, you know, positive vibes and, you know, let's do cool things like that. No, you have to dive deep and you have to look at the ugly parts of yourself that no one wants to admit are there. And you have to heal them, you have to release them, and you have to be able to move forward instead of continuously telling the same story over and over again. It's kind of hard for me even to do what I want to do because I'm going to have to tell my story over and over again. And, you know, it is something that I want to let go of. And I feel like emotionally I have kind of let go of it. You know, when you can tell your story, when it doesn't really cause you an emotional, you know, breakdown whenever you tell it. So I've gotten to a point where I'm okay telling my story, but I don't want to be attached to it. I want to release it because holding on to all the trauma that I've been through and past failures that I've gone through, it's not healthy. So once I, you know, let go of something, I put it in kind of a storage box. And when I need to open the box and look at it, I do. And then I'm able to just put it back into the box and leave it where it's meant to be in the past. And that's not saying that you're in denial. It's basically just saying you're not letting the emotional attachment that you used to feel towards these experiences, you know, muck up the things that you're trying to create and do in the future for yourself in the present moment. You're coming from a clean, healthy state, and you're able to progress without being weighed down by all the baggage that you've been through in your life or in your past lives, or, you know, whatever you choose to believe in. The main thing that comes with a spiritual awakening is self-awareness. You are going to learn so much about yourself, and people are going to reflect back to you so many things that you didn't even know existed inside of you. This started happening for me probably within the last year. People have started saying, oh, I noticed these changes with you, you know, or just the way people treat me is so different. Like, people are always nice to me and always kind to me. The majority of people have been nice and kind to me in my experience, but, you know, there's always a few people that just, you know, maybe someone doesn't hold the door for you, or, you know, your boss is always nasty to you, whatever it may be. And sometimes that's a reflection of you, and sometimes that's just that person. You can typically tell when it's a reflection of you because it will trigger you, and you will be like, WTF, why are they being so nasty to me? When it's a reflection of them, when it's just them, you're going to be like, that was kind of ugly, but whatever. You're just going to let it go. You're not going to care about it that much. Some of the things you have to be prepared for with a spiritual awakening is, like, your body is going to change. Your mind is going to change. You're going to go through a total transformation. You're not really going to be the same person that you once were. And that's the purpose of it. You're not really going to be like, all right, I want to go on a spiritual journey if you're not wanting to change. If you want to change, you've got to be prepared to just let go of a lot of things that you used to cherish. I personally had to let go of a lot of relationships. I lost a lot of friends, and I wouldn't necessarily say it was a bad thing. And I wouldn't necessarily say that they're bad people. I needed to go somewhere that they weren't able to go with me, and that's okay. If they ever wanted to join me where I am now in a different lifestyle that I'm living, I would welcome them. But I honestly don't miss them. I can love them from a distance, but I just know that the people who are meant to be in my life will find their way to my life. They're not always going to be away. And they might be new people. They might not even be people that I knew before I, you know, started changing. A lot of times when you're on a spiritual journey and you're awakening, you will start seeing like signs and synchronicities all over the place. And you're going to be like, why do I keep seeing this number? Why do I keep seeing this, this word, or, you know, what have you? Why do I keep running into this person? Why do I keep hearing the same stories? Why do I keep seeing, you know, for instance, I want to get married and have children. So all over my newsfeed, all over everywhere, weddings, engagement rings, babies, you know, the whole nine. And I don't let it bother me. I'm so happy for those people because everyone deserves happiness. Everyone deserves their happy ending and the person that they are meant to be with. But something inside of me is like, I really want that. When am I going to have that? And seeing the signs continuously lets me know that it's on its way. I just have a little bit more to adjust, and that's fine. I totally 100% have always said that I don't want my person until they're 100% ready, and I don't want to enter a relationship till I'm 100% ready, because if I enter a relationship again not ready, it's gonna fumble, it's gonna crash and burn, and I just know that from experience. And some people may say, well, you can't always be 100% ready. And I'm like, well, you know, I may not be 100% ready for everything the relationship's gonna entail, but I'm gonna be in a place where when I get to a relationship, I'm not gonna freak out. Because when I met my twin, I freaked the hell out. Like, I didn't know what to do. I had anxiety, like, you wouldn't believe. And I'm usually a pretty confident person, so to have this person that I barely know causing me such, I don't even know the word to use. It's like shaking up a soda can. I had all these fizzies inside of me and I thought I was gonna explode. And I always felt so high after being around this person. And I was like, why do I feel this way? Like, this is the craziest thing ever. And it's hard. I have a knack for being able to see people's true self. I can see you without you having to show me a lot. As soon as I meet you, I can usually tell whether or not you're a genuine person or a false person. And I could tell that he was a genuine person. He had genuine qualities. However, he was wearing a mask that, you know, created this persona, much like myself, of someone that he's not. And every time I interacted with him and he wasn't wearing the mask, I just would like swoon for him. But when he was wearing this mask, I was like, ugh, why am I attracted to him? Like, I didn't like it. And I'm sure I have the same qualities. I'm sure at certain points he felt the same way about me, and that's okay. Like, I accept that. But I genuinely think that meeting him was absolutely 100% on purpose, and I'm thankful that I did. Whether or not we end up together or not, I always will be thankful for this person because they helped me wake up to who I am truly meant to be. And I love myself now so much, and I see this version of myself that I always knew was inside of me. And now I have the ability and the confidence to reach out to all of you and help you become the best version of yourself by sharing, you know, everything that I've picked up along the way. And I have always had this wisdom that just would come out and just in general conversation, and I never knew what to do with it. But I always knew that when I had, you know, intimate conversations with people and I helped people, I always felt really good about it. So I recently have been encouraged to start a channel and to even write a book, and so I'm doing those things, and I'm really excited to help more people on a broader scale. And that's just pretty much what this channel is going to be about. And if you ever need anything, feel free to reach out. I'm here for you. Take care.